Hey everyone, God bless you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. My reflection today I've entitled Jesus's Superhuman Demands. One of the proofs of the authenticity of the Christian faith, of the fact that it is the divinely revealed religion, the religion not made from man from the ground up, but given to us from God himself, is that Jesus's expectations, his teaching for his disciples and for the whole world are so absolutely beyond human capacity. That is, human capacity apart from the grace of God, apart from his direct inspiration. I've been thinking about this all week long because this Sunday, the gospel reading is from Luke chapter 6. It's a very short but potent gospel text in which Jesus tells his disciples to love their enemies and do good to those who abuse them. He says, if you love those who love you, what's the benefit of that? Even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what's the benefit of that? If you lend your money to those from whom you expect to return, what is that to you? He says, love your enemies, do good to those from whom you expect nothing, and give without any expectation of return. I promise you, no one has ever spoken like that in the history of the human race. Even the God-inspired scriptures of the Old Testament, which gave concrete, beautiful instruction from God's mouth through Moses, for instance, and the prophets to men. For instance, on lending said, look, lend to your needy brothers and do it with no interest. Jesus takes that Old Testament standard and just demolishes it. He just goes far beyond it. Not only are we to lend to needy brothers, we're to lend to our enemies. And not only are we to lend without interest, we're to lend with zero expectation of ever getting it back. And he promises if we act this way, if we have this kind of love that he himself has brought to the world, that he sheds abroad in the human heart by his Holy Spirit, that he himself lives in, manifests, and demonstrated in saving the world. If we do this, he says, your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High God. The greatest honor of all, to actually have the likeness of God and to be demonstrably his sons and daughters. Wow, what a text. I'm encouraging you to depend on him and embrace this kind of love, this ethic, a way of life which can only be explained, justified, and enabled by the presence of God in our lives, by Jesus' direct inspiration inside of us. That is the love that saved the world. That's the love that God had when he sent his only begotten Son, that all who believe in him might not perish but have everlasting life. That's the love that has embraced the whole world and has driven Christians to the ends of the world to grab and embrace in the love of God all people. Here in the United States, where I'm speaking from, one of the first missionaries and our first martyr, our proto-martyr here in America, was a man named Juvenali. We call him Saint Juvenali, the proto-martyr now. He had been a married man in Russia and an engineer, and he lost his wife. His wife died, and he felt God calling him to be a missionary. And he came with that initial missionary team to the United States in 1794. He came to Alaska, and he launched his missionary endeavors, going into the forests of Alaska. He won more than 12,000 people, preaching the gospel to them with the help of an interpreter and baptizing them. He ended up being murdered by the natives on the west coast of near the Bering Strait, west coast of Alaska, pouring out his life, shedding his blood for the sake of Christ in order to bring the good news of God's love, which saves the world, to people. That kind of love is what inspires the church. That is authentic, and that's what we should seek. And that's the kind of love that should inspire us also to extend our hands, to fuel our outreach, and help people come to know the Lord and be welcomed into the church. I'm trying to allow that love to be what motivates me to write and make reflections like this, and then to deliver them to you all. Some of you who are just now opening your hearts to God and taking steps in response to God's call to become his disciples, to leave what you have and to follow him, and to build your life as Christians upon the rock of his words. St. John Chrysostom has a beautiful word. I want to conclude by reading it to you about how this love of God, this love which is truly beyond fallen human capability, really this superhuman Christian ethic, which is enabled by the Holy Spirit, is what holds the church together and what nourishes her and grows her. This is St. John Chrysostom's word. You like it, I think. He says, he's preaching now, so he's on the Amvo and he's preaching to his congregation. He says, we, meaning himself and the other clergy there, are responsible for the salvation of you who are here, present, and you are responsible for the salvation of those who are absent. I cannot meet them by myself, but I can meet them through you and through your teachings. May your love be, he says, as a bridge between us and them. Let them hear my words through your tongue. What a beautiful thing. And I also say that to you. If you've been helped, dear ones, by my preaching and my teaching, I glorify God for that, and I thank him for it, to use a person like myself, as messed up as I am. But I would also ask you, let my words that I'm offering you be on your tongue, and you reach those that I can't reach and that your priests can't reach. We priests are responsible for the flocks that God has brought us and that we've been able to bring into the parish. But through you, we can multiply the word. And the house of God can become great and expansive in every part of the world until the entire earth is covered with the glory of God as the waters cover the sea. That's the vision for the future. God be with you.